I'm gonna open up all the Fright Features Ghostbusters action figures, originally from 1988. The Wave 3 of the real Ghostbusters action figures. The ones I actually had as a kid. But I've since given them away to a new Ghostbuster fan, probably the best place for them, but now I have a great chance to get them back here with these remakes. These have awesome little play features. I'm going to open up each one, we'll get to check them out close up. I have a lot of little things to make note of as we go over them. Super awesome packaging with these, just like the originals for the most part. Same artwork and things on them. Less figures advertised on the back of the cards, of course, because it's just showing this group of 4 figures. I always like these re-releases because it gives me a chance to get a complete version of the figure instead of hunting down the originals. I want to start with Egon. You can take a look at his little artwork here as well. Got his little scared feature, and they all come with a little ghost. It was pretty awesome. They came with like an enemy that you could have to play with right away. His is the sore throat, which looks like some sort of evil chicken. So they all come with a weapon specific to their ghost, not the typical proton pack. And all the ghosts have like a way that they can attack the Ghostbuster as well. And they look great on the card, but I like pulling them off just like you would as a kid, totally messing it up. It's a lot of fun for me. So I wanted to start with Egon because this is actually going to be the one that people are going to want more than the others, because first of all we'll check out his feature, of course. See the left arm push in, and he's got extended neck, he's got his mouth opening, but also the tie shooting up like woo. And so this tie, you can see, is just a tiny little plastic tab. And naturally, all the old ones always snapped off. I know mine snapped off when I was a kid long ago. So then you get kind of a less feature out of it. Here there's a few things. Imagine, it's gone. All he's getting is the neck and mouth part. I had a slinky once, but I straightened it. So this will be a great way to get this figure without hunting down like a mint on card one. Probably the only way to get one that doesn't have a broken tie. So this is the one, if you see, I would grab, because this is what everybody's going to want, more so than the others even. I like his colors, the white suit. Kind of reminds me of toothpaste for some reason, this kind of teal, blue, and red. But he has his Ghostbuster logo on the left arm. That's the feature arm. Feature activating, that is. Of course, kind of like the original one, just more like his cartoon colors instead of these like crazy colors of the Fright Features one. But you can see it's like the same kind of head, but of course got the creases for the feature in there. Got the same red glasses and such. Nothing on the back for a proton pack or anything, because it comes with this kind of proton pack-ish little thing that has a claw on the side as well. Here we kind of have like a clip for the arm and a handle. So I'd imagine you wouldn't want to use the feature arm. I'm going to loop this around, have it in the non-feature arm that's just basic articulation. These would just be 5 points, but since they have the feature, there's nothing moving at the head, and then this arm isn't meant to do a whole lot. It can move, but you need it down to do the feature. So his weapon, pretty cool, like proton pack-esque, but it's for catching the sore throat ghost, which I think the originals were a little more see-through, plasticky. These are a little cloudier. You can see through them some. It's a pink chicken. Whoa, okay, he has a long neck and like the open mouth. Of course, with the weapon, it's like a claw, like, oh, it just goes right in there, easy. You can catch this long neck little ghost here. Gotcha. But if Egon doesn't have his weapon, the crazy open mouth can kind of bite him like this. So it's like, ouch! So they have like an attack and then a way the Ghostbuster can catch them. I always liked the idea that it came with like a bad guy to fight, so you wouldn't have to get a whole nother figure, a villain or something. You got it right here in the package with every Ghostbuster you get. And who doesn't love like clear plastic stuff? So fits with the ghost, usually they were ghostly and see-through, of course. Egon has all his feature there, brand new out of the package. We got the tie and all his other cool stuff. It's gonna look pretty good in my kind of retro collection, but of course they're all kind of remakes. Happen to be with the Ghostbusters stuff. But I always appreciate when they actually just remake them instead of making, okay, now it's super articulated and all this that you really don't need. You just want the original style, or at least that's what I like. So next I want to show Winston Zedmore. He's got the Scream roller ghost, which is just kind of a big mouthed ghost. He kind of has like a hammer proton pack for him. And these all have kind of cool artwork that's a little based on the cartoon, but of course has the colors and stuff. And features of this Fright Features figure, and then on the back showing the feature of like how to use this. But we can check that out when we get it opened up. And I feel like he has possibly the coolest Fright Feature mechanism, if I recall correctly. So very interesting colors with Winston, purple and yellow. The head a little looser than I remember the original being, but maybe I'm just going off memory here. So his left arm is just the normal articulation point, and the right arm is the feature side. So let's see if I remember. Oh yes, so it does the spin around to go up into his yell with a very wide mouth. As we can kind of see, you know, there's goes up so much, we just have like a chunk that's showing that. But I feel like on the original this was skin colored down in there to match him. Now it's just kind of a gray, but fortunately we don't have the originals right here to show. I always thought that spin around really added a lot, like, because it really, like, if you do it fast, it's like a transition. You, like, don't see all the details. It's like, whoa! So it's kind of weird. The right hand is the feature one, because then that means his weapon, which is, again, kind of part proton pack, but then like a mallet, hollow on the bottom, which is kind of weird. Seems like you'd want it to smash down on the ghost. I didn't mention with Egon, but the colors, you know, they kind of pick like an opposite color to make it just much more colorful looking, so they look really cool holding their weapon this way. Crazy color combination, but here's kind of his weapon like this. And the ghost, which this plastic feels way harder than I remember the original one being. It was a lot more soft, but I think it could tear because of that. So here you can see a little more clear looking. You can just see through it a little more, but it's just that open mouth, kind of pulling his mouth open. It's almost like a helmet because that's kind of its attack, is going over his head, kind of like close around him. But since it's so hard, it doesn't really go on all that well. If you want to do where, you know, the ghosts are all attacking them, that's how you want to display them. It shows like that he just kind of catches it like this on the cylinder of his weapon. And I kind of figured he'd smash down on it to kind of catch it. It's how I always kind of imagined it. So just kind of strange. Strange one. It has a good attack with the head, but I think the newer one is just too stiff to really get on there. And I remember this not being so slidey and everything, so he still does his feature pretty nicely. The ghost is altered a bit on this remake, but you still get it represented pretty nicely here. Again, even the ghost colors, you know, it's a different color. So he's got purple, yellow, green, orange. Lots going on there. Makes like a good set. All of them have so many different unique colors. I always kind of wanted those original Ghostbusters as a kid with the normal proton packs. I think I lucked out with these because these were a lot more fun with the play feature. I remember doing them all the time where it's just like, here's the ghost. It's like, ah! So they just have a lot going on. They have the ghost and it does things. We got the weapon and the play feature. And the cooler colors. Not show accurate, but pretty awesome. We got Peter Venkman here. What appears to be waders, like fishing pants or something, but comes with the gruesome twosome ghost, like a two ghost combo kind of connected. And of course on the back showing what all we can do with it once we get it opened up. It has cool artwork there on the front of the ghost and the Ghostbuster too. A lot of times with the remakes, the colors maybe end up dull or something, but Venkman's very brightly yellow and everything. His Ghostbuster logo on the just normal kind of movement arm, the legs. Of course, all the creases and things makes his face look really strange. Like, gee, I wonder if something goes on there. So left arm push in. Whoa! He's losing his hair. Eyes shooting out and the mouth. So can't really do the talk there because I can't believe it! Very animated feature there. I always thought it was cool seeing kind of like the bald head there just because of the hair piece shooting up. And of course showing just the original one, kind of this a lot altered there just because the features show so much. You're kind of a custom proton pack just so we don't have that big beam in the way, which was another benefit of these Fright Feature ones, that probably a little easier to display. They're smaller weapons than the originals, having those big like wavy plastic beams coming out. So a big bright blue weapon. I think it was cool that they didn't just strictly make it be the feature dealing with the ghosts, like it wasn't just a hook weapon and all that for the other characters. We We have like the proton pack like nozzle, like you could imagine him like kind of shooting the ghost. To lead up to using the hook, because we have the gruesome twosome there. It's like their tails intertwined, making it one piece. They're kind of cool horned little demons there, kind of sits on his shoulder. They're gonna attack like, oh no, oh I'm spooked. But with the hook, he can just kind of hook him right there. He's got him. I did always like this ghost a lot, but I didn't really care that much for his weapon because it's a very tiny hook, so he doesn't really feel like he's got them quite as tightly as like Egon's claw thing and stuff like that. But that was kind of the fun. Ghosts would get away. You'd have to re-catch them anyway. Again, I was probably like 2 years old playing with these Fright Feature figures. Watching the old cartoon. Mostly to hear the song, but probably the figure I kept with me the most was likely Venkman. I liked his cool vest and everything. Lastly, we got old Ray with the jail jaw ghost. I'm getting the sense I lost his weapon early because it doesn't seem very familiar to me like the others were. But on the back showing what we can do with that. Very helpful. I feel like they all come with pretty iconic ghost accessories. Ray here pretty interesting with a little modification there. He's got the goggles, where kind of the original release figure didn't have that, and they didn't have any like accessory to put on to add that or anything. So that was always kind of a standout feature. I thought it was like, oh, he's got the equipment with him molded onto the head, and it kind of helps with the feature as well, but pretty vastly different there. And his jumpsuit with this color was always pretty cool, a little darker suit. Some colorful gloves, and then he has the Ghostbuster logo on his shirt. The rest all had it on their arm. So right arm, going to be the feature one here, looks like. And we just have ears and the hair coming up, but underneath here, the eyes are actually like extended, which is why he looks a little crazy, because once you pop it up, you can see underneath the whole time they were like, goo, very tall. But it's kind of cool, the ears popping out. Maybe the weakest feature if you had to rank them. The other one's having a lot more movement, and then this one you can kind of like see it coming with the eyes because they look so strange. Yeah, I just don't recall the weapon very much, but it's just kind of a claw, also a little bit similar to Egon. But he has his own kind of proton nozzle there. He almost got like oven mitts, these gloves. It's a very interesting color. No handle, just the latch onto the arm. It's a little different there. But another color that kind of contrasts his other choices just to make him stand out. And the jail jaw ghost with the kind of bars making up his mouth. Again, the plastic is super hard, and I remember them being a little softer than the originals. But you would think this big mouth would be kind of the feature, but actually it's just the horns are kind of able to kind of pinch his wrist kind of and latch on in that way. Or of course, since we got the hook, that's going to go in between his jail bar mouth and hook him like that. Catch the ghost. Whoa, whoa, I caught him. A lot more fun this wave, I feel like, in a lot of ways, with the feature that are really cool. Something that would get mimicked with some Stranger Things figures. I did kind of open up here and check out just because they were a lot like these in a retro sense. And then the colors of the suits, not cartoon accurate, but they kind of were their own cool different colors and stuff, making each Ghostbuster that much more unique, even though the cartoon did originally like recolor all their jumpsuits so they didn't have matching outfits. But these were a lot more distinct, the Fright Feature ones, very different colorings. And then just coming with ghosts that kind of matched their weapon too. So it was just like a lot more play was thought of into these than that original like first grouping that looks like the cartoon colors. So not the first remakes of Ghostbuster stuff I've opened up. These were like the ones I really was wanting because these are the ones I had as a kid and I wanted to get fresh all new ones. But I did get a lot of the other stuff like that first wave of the original figures redone. The Ecto-1, some of the ghosts and things. Worth checking out my close looks at all those, because those are really fun too. So I kind of like late 80s and 90s action figures here is what I like to get. Usually the originals, but these remakes are such a good chance to get like a nice clean version with all the accessories that I really can't say no to them. much more easy and convenient to get a hold of. And they're pretty faithful. There's only going to be a few little bits that are different, but that's what I like to show here, so that's the kind of thing that you like to see. Definitely want to check around the channel for all the different playlists of all sorts of different action figures. Educational for the past, or reliving it if you lived it too, like I did. Finally have my childhood Ghostbusters back in full. So we'll see you in the next video that way.